fiancé said I couldn't wear a white wedding dress because I wasn't pure, so I gave him the Scarlet wedding of his dreams. Ryan's virginity obsession started the night we met at a college party 6 years ago. I'd mentioned an ex-boyfriend in passing, just said, my ex had that same poster, and watched his face crumble like I'd confessed to murder. Turns out Ryan, sweet 20-year-old virgin Ryan, couldn't handle that I'd had a high school boyfriend, one single boyfriend, who I'd slept with at 18, 3 years before Ryan existed in my universe. That first year was torture. He'd randomly ask about my ex during dinner, sulk through romantic movies if they mentioned past relationships. Once, mid-makeout, he stopped to ask if I compared him to my ex, which should have been my cue to run. But instead, he'd cry these pathetic tears and swear he'd get over it. I just need time, he'd say. I've never felt this way before. So I stayed, like an idiot, thinking love could fix his weird purity complex. By year 2, the comments stopped along with the sulking and questions, which made me think we'd grown past it as we moved in together. 4 years later, he proposed with his grandmother's ring at sunset on the beach, and I said yes to what I thought was a changed man, until a month ago when everything unraveled over wedding dresses. I was talking to my coworkers, Ryan announced during dinner, and I don't think you should wear white, which made me laugh because I thought he was joking about some wedding tradition, but he wasn't laughing. 2 weeks later, I put down a deposit on my dream dress, a stunning white ball gown with delicate lace, and when I told Ryan, he lost his mind. What color is it? He demanded, and when I said white, he actually stomped his foot like a toddler before declaring, you can't wear white because white is for pure women, pure. That word hung between us like a grenade. 6 years, and we were back to him obsessing over my virgin status like some medieval lord. He wanted me to wear red to announce to our 150 guests that I was some fallen woman who dared to have a life before him. It's different for guys, he spat when I pointed out his hypocrisy. Everyone needs to know what kind of woman you are, and wearing white would be deceiving them. He even dragged his mother into it, but instead of taking his side, she suggested he should wear red too, which made him burst into tears because mommy wouldn't help him slut-shame his fiancé. That's when I knew I was done. I'd learned to hide my rage from Ryan, but inside I finally accepted he'd never see me as anything but used goods, forever punishing me for not saving myself for someone I hadn't even met. You know what? You're absolutely right, I told him the next morning, voice dripping sweetness. I should wear red. His whole face transformed as he actually thanked me for being reasonable and respecting tradition, while I smiled and nodded, mentally orchestrating his destruction. See, Ryan had paid for our entire $30,000 wedding to impress everyone, but he couldn't be bothered with actual planning. That was bride stuff. So I made some calls, starting with the wedding planner. We're switching to a red theme, passion red, and Ryan's very specific about everyone wearing red for the photos, which didn't even make her blink since she dealt with stranger requests from tech money. Then I called every single guest to tell them, Ryan decided on a cohesive color scheme and he'll be so hurt if anyone wears other colors, making sure my bridesmaids and both families got the red memo while telling them to keep it secret as a surprise for how amazing the photos would look. I bought a spectacular red silk dress that cost twice my original, because if I was burning this relationship down, I'd look incredible doing it. I also told the planner to keep Ryan facing the altar until I walked out because he wants the first look moment to be perfect. Saturday arrived like Christmas morning as I got ready in my crimson gown, watching through the window while red-clad guests filled the venue until every single person, from his stick-up-her-ass Aunt Margaret to my beer-belly Uncle Tony, wore red, and the entire garden looked like a poppy field. Ryan stood at the altar in his black tux facing forward just as I'd arranged, completely oblivious and probably imagining everyone gasping at his Scarlet woman bride. But when the music started and he turned around, his face went through the most beautiful journey from smug satisfaction to confusion to dawning horror to pure rage because everyone was fucking red. By the time I reached him, he was practically vibrating as he hissed, "What did you do?" And I responded, "Exactly what you wanted," loud enough for the front rows to hear before turning to our guests. Ryan taught me about honesty in relationships, so honestly, I can't marry someone who thinks my worth is tied to my hymen. The venue erupted in gasps while Ryan sputtered and tried to explain, but every word made him sound worse until his own mother stood up and said, "You wanted to shame her? Like some scarlet letter?" He looked around at 150 disgusted faces in red, turned, and literally ran out of his own wedding. Well, I announced, no sense wasting a perfectly good party. My dad started clapping, then everyone joined in, and we partied until 2 a.m. on Ryan's dime. The photographer sent me a perfect shot of Ryan's face when he realized everyone wore red, which is now my phone wallpaper. A $30,000 reminder that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.